Hey, this is Spartan 300 Therm, and I'm generally incompetent. So, I've finally switched to NATO. So, eventually after playing Warsaw Pact a lot, I've noticed that once in a while, the room would fill up with Warsaw Pact more than I filled up with NATO. So then I finally realized, like, yes, I can play NATO! I finally get the good Air Force I want! So, I'm going for a deck that's only American, so I get the extra, what are they called? Like, extra army point. And I am not amazingly confident in my deck, but I am very happy with it. So the first time I played as NATO, I failed to add supply vehicles into my build. So as a result, all my anti-air guys and every time my infantry would fight against tanks would run out of ammo, and that sort of stinks. So then I decided to switch to Chincoxes because I didn't want to use ground transports. But then I realized, wait, if the enemy has anti-air, then I can't resupply my guys. And this is before I add in the ground vehicle resuppliers. I'm still conflicted over whether or not to add them, because that means that I can't have as much air force, or I can't have as many infantry, or whatever it is I choose to get. So, in the Humvee, I have some Rangers. I was thinking that maybe I could get them over here and have them scout, but that ends up failing miserably. So, I have almost no resistance whatsoever on the left flank. In the center, since this is, what's it called? I think Copenhagen, I think the map's called. There is always a big fight in the middle because, you know, there's a massive town here. So, there's just good infantry on infantry fights. Feels like Poland would do great in the center, for the Soviet side. Which NATO faction is great with infantry? I'd say US because they have the Marines. I'm pretty sure they have slightly larger squads, but I'm not too sure. So, let's speed up. And it takes a while for me to encounter some resistance. So, for some reason, the enemy surrenders and leaves. That means that the other guys aren't getting his points, so that is, I wouldn't say unfortunate, but it's good. It's not to do things from my perspective. So as you can see, I'm very cautious here, because I'm like, where's the enemy? I'm at Bravo, he should be here. And I was pretty confused over what was going on. So I hunker down a bit, I wait for the command vehicle to come up. I have my M60s, which are nice, scary tanks. And eventually I end up leading with them before advancing. So, yeah, I end up losing the, what's it called? Vehicle. That might have been earlier because there was the Corsairs. It was the Corsairs and aircraft. Yeah, so I probably tried to get some napalm, which I got relatively successfully. Looks like the fire is abated, unfortunately. So now I have my M60s lead the charge, and I'm loading it into my transports, etc., etc. Come on, come on. There we go. So yeah, I start to advance. Times 10 speed. This doesn't feel like times 10. This is a pretty slow game, though. Oh, it looks times 10. Anyway, so the M60s are moving up. Nice and scary. And I don't realize it, but the enemy has troops inside of these buildings. So my LAVs actually end up ripping through them, which I didn't expect. I am sorry for speaking louder because I'm wearing headphones right now, and I'm not using the volume because I was thinking that, like, you ended up hearing the volume twice in the videos because it's coming out of the speaker, and Fraps records the volume too. So I'm gonna end up speaking loudly because it's really loud in my headphones for some reason because the standard volume is ridiculously loud. So now, I take out the two squads very easily. My LIVs are more effective than I thought. I end up losing a couple, which is unfortunate, but hey, I can do that. So yeah, he's got the aircraft. I eventually lose the command vehicle. And I just hunker down inside the town because I know that I need to wait for the command vehicle to come in. He'll come in from Bravo since it's going in from there. I also realize I'll need more anti-air because he has a bunch of helis. And we end up in sort of a sub-neutral state where we're kind of like just bombarding at each other, throwing a couple of shells at each other. Like we might feint an attack and then go back. So I use my artillery to try to bombard the area, and it doesn't go as well as I would have hoped. I choose way too far forward. I need to go further to the right. So I try some of my LAVs to go here to act as sort of a flank guard. And he has an anti-tank guy that fires Conqueror's rockets, and those are great for taking out vehicles. Here, just watch. And fire. Bang. See? That was one shot. So now we're sort of in a fire trade. Because these guys have rockets. They have rockets, they're about the same range, so they're just sort of exchanging shots. I try to get my own anti-tank dedicated anti-tank dedicated vehicles. So we're sort of trading shots. My anti-air runs out of ammo. I finally move my M60s up. I get some anti-air infantry because I realize that this guy runs out of ammo. And once again, I mean, a sub-neutral state. they have a very nice fortification here, and I'm not really sure what they were hoping to do. I guess it was prevent reinforcements coming from either way, but I don't really know. So they have a nice 600-point lead. And I don't know why they were surrendering. So the first time I understand, maybe the guy needed to go. But they eventually start surrendering off for some reason, and I'm not too sure why. So as you can see, the artillery's firing. See some tanks. They get detracked somehow. So I get the infantry trying to rush. He has the nice place anti-tank guys. He advances with the Conquerist. Let's see what happens. Do they take anything out? Yes, they do. And since there's nothing for that rocket to hit, it diverts away. So now speed up again. These infantries are trying to walk on foot. Doesn't go as well as I would have hoped. Try to get some cluster bombs. I unfortunately want to take out one, and does he get away? Does he get away? Come on, come on, come on, come on. And you are good. I should show you what airplanes I have. Maybe if I go to my view? Nope, that's unfortunate. So yeah, they forced these Marines to run. Shame too, like they were right next to the building. I mean, there were only 3 of them, so it was a total loss. These guys have 11, but no one makes it to the building, to my great misfortune. So now I try cluster bomb the area. Do I kill anything? And a no. And he gets away too. So eventually they start to get some AA in. Is that rocket or... Yes, it is. Those are SAMs. I think they're called SAMs. And yeah, they get scared out of their wits. Cowardly Marines. One left. Come on, can he run? What a wimp he was in a cradle. Anyway. I think the term is cradle. So now, they make an armor push forward. And I eventually tell my guys to flank from Juliet. I might be thinking of a different battle, though. Anyway, so they do eventually flank from Juliet, though. So now, the tanks advance. And watch the... It doesn't really go well for either side. I run out of rockets, and his tanks start to run out of fuel, which is very unfortunate for him, because he probably would have forced me out. So, yeah, and let's see what happens. I take out one tank. That's 60 points for me. I try cluster bomb the area, because I know my guys are safe inside the buildings. And his guys get stunned. The Red Eyes have no anti-tank ability, which is unfortunate. My Dragoons, not Dragoons, Dragons are all the way over there. My guys only have 1 rocket left. Do I kill anything with it? No, I do not. And they get to fire off a shot. They hit it, but they don't kill it. And this just goes. This doesn't go favorably at all. These guys run out of rockets, and it's just a mess. So his tanks go away because they're running out of fuel. They don't want to get pinned here. His guys tried to go in. They were able to take out the second CP I sent, so I'm losing a ton of points on CPs. What am I saying? CPs? CVs. And I eventually just shift around the way I place my guys. I tried cluster bomb. I think I took out one of them. So these Marines, I think they die, so I'm moving the Dragons. That way if another armor push comes. So now over to the right. Wait, not yet. So once again, we're in sort of a neutral state. He takes out some of my guys, I take out some of his. And there's a large field of death here. That's fun to see. So now... let's just keep a big view. Not much going on. There's probably a couple of shots being fired off in the center. Not much. And one of the fun things about this game is the stalemates. Because you're just waiting for the opponent to attack. The opponent's waiting for you to attack. So eventually one guy makes a move. And it's just, you get to see what happens. That's one of the best parts. So now a large armored push of Abrams and what else? Abrams, Bradleys. I believe these are anti-tank guys. Like they come forward to attack. I see this and I prepare to make a pincer movement on them. Because we already have a pretty nice pincer. We have both flanks. They're sort of pinned in the center. And how many points do they have? They have 3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Theoretically speaking 5, but we're not getting the points because I don't have a CV there. So I can finally get Chincook in there. Chincook, whatever it says. Oh, let's see. Kill anything. He dies. He does get the missiles off. Do I kill those anti-air? And I do get my revenge. Okay, it probably wasn't profitable in terms of points. So he makes his push. I'm starting to get some tanks in. So now, green is ally, blue is me. And another enemy surrenders. I don't know why. I mean, I guess they recognize the fact that they're failing, because just look at this battle line. The thing is that they have superior points. And one of the strangest things, though, is that as much land as you own, the battles come down to how many units you kill. which I think is a little bit pointless, because in the end, you're fighting for land, and yet, in order to gain land, you lose troops. So you're in a conflict of interest. So it basically comes down to, if you just sit back with artillery and some well-placed airstrikes, you win, and it's just like, but I control most of the land. It's silly, really. The game really needs to fix some of these issues. I think that should be I think there should be a game mode. There probably is, and I missed it, where it's based off of how many points you gain. Like, you know those army points they use to deploy troops? Like, you know, each time, like, for every point you gain, that also goes to the team's pool. And then once they get to, like, 10,000 or 20,000, then you win. That way, like, you have to make these moves. You can't go to stalemates too long, otherwise you lose. And daring moves are rewarded if they're successful, and they're punished hardly if they fail, because then the enemy makes a counterattack, and then you lose the area. Like, you know, daring moves are more rewarded. So now the armored push comes in here. All that's left to defend is some anti-air, some artillery. These guys are retreating, probably out of ammo. And my push is about to come. Let's see when. Just getting all my tanks into position. I've finally taken this area. And so we've been taking each other. So yeah, these Abrams, I think I lose one to this rocket. Nope. I eventually do lose one. Should be the second one. There we go. And I wasn't a profit for that one Abrams. And so we start to make our push. I take out those guys, and then they just surrender. I mean, I understand surrendering due to strategic reasons, like, you know, like they're losing guys, they're having a pincer come in on them, and, like, you know, they're just losing the battle. But, once again, we should have won that battle anyway, simply because we dominated the land, we had superior armies, like, we had superior everything except for points. That's because we lost troops to gain what we gained. Like, the game punishes, like, daring maneuvers. And I only punish them in the sense that, like, the odds aren't on your favor, so you're probably going to fail. But when they're successful, you're punished even harder. Actually, not when you fail, you punish really hard. But if you're successful, you lost a lot of guys, but you gained land. And in the end, you are fighting for land. But the game doesn't recognize that due to the point system of killing enemies. I mean, it's silly. And in the end, the game is really fun, and I'm just a little bit disappointed by the game mode. I'll look into seeing whether or not it's true that there's, like, a point-based system. But anyway, I'm Spartan300 Therm, and I'm generally incompetent. A like and subscription are appreciated, and I will see you next time.